Yo, what is going on? It's DJ Crowley here. It's Simmer Down live from home, and we've got the legendary Michael Goldwasser, co-founder, Easy Star Records, founder of the Easy Star All Stars in the house. What's going on, man?
Hey, Alex, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure.
It is, man. It's been about 10 years, I think. Last time I saw you, we were in Asheville, North Carolina at the Great Eagle. You were doing the 10-year celebration of Dub Side of the Moon. And now we have yet another reinvention of another classic, historic piece of music, Ziggy Stardub. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I've been a big David Bowie fan for much of my life, and I always loved the album Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. So, with Easy Star's series of reimaginings of classic albums, that was kind of always in the back of our heads since the early days of us doing this. For whatever reason, we just didn't tackle it until we decided to do it now. But I'm really glad that we did because it's just so close to my heart and my history as a music fan and as a musician. So it was so amazing for me as the producer and the arranger to dive into the album and just really uh, get super acquainted with all the minutia that David Bowie and his band and the producer Ken Scott did on the original and all the arrangements. And for me, it's being a music nerd. It's which I proudly will say. It's just that's one of my favorite parts of doing these projects is like listening for all the details and then thinking about how I'm going to interpret them, or some I don't interpret at all. I leave them out. Some I want to really grab onto and make something of. So it's really fun project for me.
It's incredible, man. It's out now. And before we go into the whole record and kind of get into it, you had a release show in New York City at Sony Hall just a couple days ago. How was it, man?
Wow, it was amazing. We tend to play New York City every year on April 20th. I don't know why, but they make this 420 show. I have no idea what it's about. Um, but so this year we combined it with the release of the album because the album's coming out on April 21st. And we had a huge crowd, lots of family there. The opening band was a Cannabis Cup band who are all friends of ours, and Sister Carol performed. She's one of the first
Yes.
Jamaican artists that I ever produced. I think I did a session with her in 1997 when I was just 3 years old. And it was amazing family vibes, so much fun. It was great. It was the first time we ever played any of this David Bowie reggae stuff live. So it was great to get the audience reaction. And one of the coolest things is that there are a lot of great guest vocalists on the album and also a couple amazing guest musicians, including Alex Lifeson, the guitarist from the band Rush,
Oh, wow.
a legend. He played on a track, and then a friend of mine, Vernon Reed from Living Color, played on another track. And when I told Vernon about the show, Vernon lives in New York, and I said, "Hey man, you want to come and just sit in on a few songs?" And he was like, "Yo, definitely." So he came and played on "Hang On to Yourself," which he played on the album. Then he also played on Ziggy Stardust. It was amazing because the crowd didn't know it was coming, and then I announced him, or they noticed him on stage, and their minds were blown. And it's like those kind of moments that I cherish as a fan, thinking of all the shows I've gone to where all of a sudden someone shows up that you don't expect. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw that. So it's so cool to be able to bring that to fans as a performer.
That's incredible. Lifeson, man, from Rush too. Oh, wow.
Really cool guy.
That brings up a good point. I think in this business, family and networking is extremely important. Why is the idea of family so important with you and Easy Star?
Oh, well, look, I was raised in a tight-knit family. I emphasize the value of family to my kids now, as does my wife. We're really tight-knit. A lot of the people involved in Easy Star I've been friends with for decades, and we are kind of like a family. And Easy Star, um, look, we may never make the big bucks or be featured on major media and stuff like that, but we've got each other, and we try to treat everyone with respect and love because we are family. And it's one of the reasons why Easy Star Records has been able to be around since 1996 when we first founded the label, is uh, because it's about the people. You know, we want to treat people well and be nice to everyone. And my partner Eric Smith said in an interview a couple of years ago something that's really sums it up, which is that we try to have compassion for all the artists that we work with. You know, and I think that's what it starts with, is being a compassionate person, and how that can translate into music and business, you know. And that's because people are more important than, obviously, people are more important than money, and people are more important than success, and people are more important than business. So try to just keep that focus on the people.
Some of the, over the years through being in the business and all that, I mean, your family, the people you work with, people you play music with, that's your family as well, and networking in this business and creating a family that you trust and love, that can keep growing exponentially, is so, so, so important.
I agree 100%. And that's one of the things I actually love about getting older. Some people are like, oh man, I'm getting older. I wish I was a kid again. I love getting older because I feel like I'm always making new friends and new family members in my life. And that's just such a blessing, you know, to be able to expand my circle of people that are important to me, you know, and to hopefully be able to be important to other people and help improve their lives, or bring meaning to their lives, or just bring more fun to their lives. You know, that's really what it's about.
Absolutely. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, you're late. It's all good. We got Michael Goldwasser, Easy Star Records, Easy Star All Stars in the house. Ziggy Stardub has finally made its first appearance in the world, and man, it's amazing. Another masterpiece. I want to go back into this real quick, a little bit deeper with this. There must be like this very unique energy in the studio as well as the mind while creating and reimagining each record. Tell us about the energy behind Ziggy Stardub.
Well, this one was really interesting because it was a unique energy, because we recorded a lot of it during the height of the pandemic,
Hmm.
and it was weird. We had to wear masks in the studio. I think by this point, everyone had their first vaccine or something, but it just felt really weird, and had to kind of overcome that, you know, to bring all these positive reggae vibes to the project, because it was not a normal way to record. But a lot of the energy for me comes way before we hit the studio, which is writing the arrangements. I spend a lot of time coming up with the arrangements. Sometimes I'll be working on an arrangement for weeks or even months, and then I'll scrap it and start again, because I take this stuff seriously. I know that, you know, starting with Dub Side of the Moon, you know, a lot of people, that album means a lot to a lot of people. And there are some, it would be possible to just kind of wing it, be like, yeah, we're going to do a cover of this album, go in the studio and just be like, hey guys, just play a groove and we're just going to make it happen. And unfortunately, I have heard projects like that before, that I guess they were just trying to get it done quickly and cheaply. And that's, everyone's got their own methods. But for me, I really want to, I find the right balance between reverence for the original material and humor and having fun with it. So I spend a lot of time and energy crafting these arrangements before I even bring them to the band, bring them to the studio. By the time we hit the studio, we've got such a good template because I've worked everything out ahead of time, you know. So then, as long as everyone's learned their parts, then we can experiment a little. Everyone brings their own energy to it. Um, but I think a lot of it comes with me being meticulous with the details, which, you know, I mentioned earlier in the show, talking about details. Um, and then there's a whole other energy of mixing the album, you know, because mixing is such a huge part of reggae and dub. This album was mixed by my good friend Scott Jacoby here in New York City. He's won Grammy Awards. He mixed when I produced for Jason Mraz a couple years ago. He mixed
Hmm.
that album. He's a great big reggae fan, but he knows all styles of music, you know. So the mixing process was really fun, and all the effects that we added, I did live using, or most of them were done live using analog effects. So that brought that kind of energy where when you hear a delay happening on this album, that's me turning a knob in real time to make it happen. It's not that I programmed it into a computer or automated it. It's part of that's part of the energy, which is trying to recapture the vibes of what made classic reggae so great. I'm not a purist. I just want it to sound good. Um, so it's a convergence of all these different energies and processes that create the music that we have in the end.
Absolutely, man. Real quick, tell everybody how they can find this new record, Ziggy Stardub.
I don't have the URL in front of me, but certainly, but if you go to easystar.com, I'm sure that's a good way to start. You can find it on every DSP, whether you use Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, whatever you use, it's there. Certainly, we'd love for you to actually buy the vinyl because I think it sounds best on vinyl. You can get that from EasyStar.com or from any music retailers. Amazon has it if you want to use Amazon. So it's pretty much out there everywhere you can go. I personally love supporting record stores. So if
Yeah.
you can get it at your record store, I know like Newberry Comics, that chain has it. I'm sure some other chains do, and certainly ask at your local record store about the vinyl or CDs. We sell CDs too, but it's pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, vinyls have, for the first time since I think 1987, outsold CDs as of recent, man. We got our PLX 500 right here. We'll be getting that record for sure. Vinyls are very important to us as well.
Cool.
So I want to talk about the live show and kind of what's coming up. The record's out. You guys are going to be touring. You guys are going to be heading over to Europe with our good buddies in Dubious as well. Tell us about the live show and what people can expect on the road coming up.
Yeah, well, the live show is going to combine. We're going to do a bunch of songs from the new album, which we premiered the other night at our release show, and then we're going to do, the classics from our previous albums that people love. Um, we're going to try to mix it up on different nights, but we're always going to hit the main ones that we can't leave the stage without playing. And the band is sounding great. We have some new members of the band because the band's been around as a studio act since 1997.
Wow.
And as a touring act, like we played in New York City in the late 90s, early 2000s, but we haven't as a touring act since 2003. So, some members have come and gone. And, right now, I really, really love the lineup we have. Really positive vibes. A lot of Jamaicans in the band right now, which is important to me because there's no reggae without Jamaica. So I think we're going to bring a great show to wherever we tour this year and years ahead.
And you will be heading over to Europe, and Easy Star Records works a lot with international artists, not just European, but international artists. There's so much more reggae music than people know. It's not just in the US, it's all over the world. Tell us about the world of reggae music and what's going on right now.
Wow. Well, one thing we've noticed through our travels as a band and my travels as a producer and just as a civilian is that anywhere you go in the world, you're going to find reggae. Like, I bet if I went to the North Pole right now, I'd find a bunch of penguins chilling out. Some reggae.
Absolutely.
No, but on a serious note, like everywhere we go, there is a local reggae community, sometimes a huge one, sometimes really, really strong, So, um, and maybe that's true of all styles of music because it's just music, the world, the powers that be, the radio industry, the music industry tries to divide things up as you're this, you're that, maybe you shouldn't mix, but really to us, it's just all music. And yeah, there's great reggae everywhere. And one great thing for veteran reggae artists is there are opportunities for them to tour and to play all over the world, which is wonderful. Because unfortunately, a lot of times the veterans kind of get lost, and they gave so much. They probably didn't get paid much when they first made these records. They probably haven't made much in royalties since they released these classics 40 years ago or 50 years ago even.
Mhm.
And now the only way they can make money really is to be on the road. So we need to support them.
Absolutely. There's so much reggae music, and not just reggae music, all music. You talk about in a lot of your interviews and with Easy Star's kind of mission, this breaking boundaries between genres. You know, there's so much good music outside of the US that people have got to check out for sure.
Yeah, it's in Western culture I find tends to be somewhat ethnocentric. And whereas the West is normal, everything else is weird. That's not really how it should be. Like the fact that there's a category often called like world music or global music. All music is made by people on the earth is world music or global music. It's just kind of a way of saying other, like we have our music here and then there's that other stuff. It's different. It's weird. It's in other languages, and that kind of makes it already starts people off with some preconception of what it is, but really I think music is the ability to appreciate music is inherent in the human condition, and like you put any kind of music on around babies and they're going to start to feel it and move to it. And I think most people it's the same thing, and it doesn't matter if it's in a language you can't understand or if it's a style of music that just seems different to you because of using different polyrhythms or different scale and all these semitones and things that aren't common in Western music. But I really do believe in the power of music to break down boundaries and to make people feel good or make people feel bad, but to make them feel something, like as Steel Pulse said, life without music, I can't live,
Hmm.
So yes, we got to keep on uh, breaking down the artificial barriers that prevent people from appreciating music from different cultures, and that's part of our mission, certainly.
Absolutely. And just to give you guys a little shout out here, Easy Star Records this year has absolutely blown us away with the releases. Bringing Sundub, your local friends, on to the label. We chatted with Ben and Joanna a couple weeks ago and got to, meet them, become part of their family. They are just incredible. That record, Spirits Eat Music, absolutely incredible. Giant Panda, Gorilla Dub Squad, The Vets, Love and Time. What an incredible piece of music. I just do want to give you guys a shout out on the beautiful music that you guys have been releasing to the world lately, man.
Thank you. We also recently put out Marcus Gadd's new release,
Yep.
and that's from the whole other side of the world. Um, and later this year, we have fantastic releases from Jamaica, from Mortimer and Samory I, who both appear on the Ziggy Stardub album. But I really, really love their albums. I think it's people are going to be blown away and realize that this is some of the most crucial stuff coming out of Jamaica right now. So we're trying to balance. Life is about balance in general, anyway. So we're trying to still bring amazing Jamaican music to the forefront, and then also work with artists from outside Jamaica that are still making music that we feel is relevant to Easy Star's mission.
Absolutely. Hey, we got a few more questions here, and then I know you probably have another interview because this record is out and it is press time. Ziggy Stardub, the reimagination of David Bowie's classic, is now available. EasyStar.com. Michael Goldwasser in the house. A few more questions for you. We appreciate you being here with us. I did want to say you were touching on the breaking boundaries within Easy Star. And Ziggy Marley told me, like, you have that one thing that somebody tells you that you always remember. He said, all music is music, no music is not music. And that one always like stuck with me. That was one thing that got me like to be like, you know what? This pop song is actually pretty cool. And maybe I don't like necessarily like pop, or this is actually maybe I do like this genre. I guess the guys don't like genres, but I'll never forget that. And I think what you guys are doing with that is very similar. There's breaking those boundaries. It's very important for you to not have any like preconceptions about something before you listen to it.
Yeah, well, I guess our formula has proven to work, which is that by taking albums that people are already familiar with, they know the songs, and then reinventing them as reggae. It's kind of like a soft landing for people who might be resistant to it. Like if they heard, just a reggae record by that they didn't recognize, they might be like, "Oh, that's reggae. I'm not going to listen to that." But when they hear, "Oh, wait, is that Ziggy Stardust? I know that song. Let me give this a listen." And then maybe, even if they weren't reggae listeners before, then they realize, hey man, there's something here. And we know that because we've encountered many, many people who have told us, I never listened to reggae before, but because of Dub Side of the Moon or Radio Dread, or hopefully now Ziggy Stardub, I've become a reggae fan. And that's really cool. We're just opening people's minds and opening people's hearts.
Absolutely. Will there where there'll be will there be a Ziggy Star dubber, just like Dubber Side of the Moon?
I do not know. We just released this one. There's certainly always anything's possible. And I was really psyched to do a few dubs of the tracks on the album that we then included on the album. That was really, really fun. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I hope there's demand for it. That's all I could say.
Absolutely. Everybody go check it out. Just a few more questions, Michael.
Yeah,
Gonna get a little deeper here.
man.
Uh, what makes a song more than just a song? Something you can actually feel. I think like I have this thing that I say like when I hear a song, that's a can you feel it song. Compared to that's a good track.
Hmm. Well, for me, it's really about the music in the sense that, like, I know a lot of people disagree with me on this, and that's fine. I don't really want to hear a song with great lyrics if I don't like the music. Um, and there are many great lyricists out there, people who are revered by millions of people for being great lyricists, but I don't like their singing, or I just don't like the music that they put around these lyrics. So it doesn't really do anything for me. So for me, to make a song more than just a song, it starts with the vibe of the music. And usually for me, I need something rhythmic that calls to me, that makes my body want to move in some way, which is why, if we are going to talk about genres, I've always loved reggae. I love R&B music. I love a lot of styles of African music, especially Afrobeat, like the original Afrobeat. Now it's called Afrobeats now, but Afrobeat from Nigeria in the 70s. Um, Music that just has some kind of groove to it that just forces you to react, even if you're not feeling like it. Um, and then there's other aspects of the music that, to me, like when I hear some amazing and sometimes unexpected chord, like a harmony, like a way that I wouldn't necessarily go in terms of harmony, just really striking to me. That always blows me away. Like I guess maybe because I'm a producer, I'm often listening to the arrangement and the overall arrangement, especially the harmony. Like great chords and a great beat. That's what really elevates a song for me, I guess.
Hey man, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've been working with Eric and Lem very, very closely this year. We've known each other for many years, working back and forth between me as a tour manager in the past or getting back into radio again. It's just a pleasure to get you on here and show the world this Ziggy Stardub, and we can't wait to see what's next. So, speaking of what's next, I want to go even deeper for this final question because, the last time we talked, I said, what does reggae mean to you? Everybody I interview for the first time kind of gets that one, but you've already gotten that one. So, to close it out, I want to ask you this. And again, it's been a pleasure, man. Ziggy Stardub is now available everywhere. The Easy Star All Stars are back. They're going on tour, they're going to Europe, they're going all over the world. They are very unique and will always hold a special place in our heart, man. Uh, the state of music right now, and where is it going? Where is music going? Just not just reggae, music.
Well, if I knew where music was going, then I would try to get ahead of the curve and cash in on it. to be blunt. But I don't know where music's going. That's the crazy thing, So the state of music right now, um, look, as an old school kind of guy, I sometimes do get dismayed at it seems like a lot of younger people just want to consume their music in very short little snippets on TikTok. Some kids don't have the attention span to listen to more than 30 seconds of a song, and as someone who specializes in making albums where part of the key is listening to the entire album all the songs in a row, the way they are laid out by us. That's a little disconcerting. But I'm encouraged because I always am meeting younger people who are interested in making different and interesting music, and becoming musicians, writing meaningful songs. So, I think there's like with everything, there's good and bad in the state of music right now. Um, I think it's interesting. A lot of people talk about how great it is that music has become more democratized because of the internet and the ability for everyone to just upload their stuff onto DSPs. But I don't know if that's always a good thing. I mean, I'm certainly pro democracy, don't get me wrong. But to have thousands of songs newly available every day when only say 1% of them are ever heard by anyone, I don't know if that's a good thing. So I think we've lost some of the importance of gatekeeping in music, that used to be more prevalent. And the fact that so many people make music, uh, say just on their laptops at home, I mean, that's cool. I want everyone to make music, but the fact that um, it seems to take, or people expect less expertise now. Um, you know, there's a lot of more people follow. It's so easy to make a track that sounds like another track. People are just following fashion more than ever. So I'm not sure what I want to think of the state of music. I think there's a lot of good, but there's some not such good stuff. What's going to happen in the future? I don't know. I would love it if the internet completely crashed and
Yes.
had the ability to make record music, except by recording it to tape in an analog facility, and then only people who really knew what they were doing would be doing this. I'd be cool with that. I don't know if that's going to happen though, and I think everyone else would lose their minds if they lost the internet and the ability to make music digitally. So I don't really want to do that to all my fellow humans. But for me, it's just about staying true to what you care about musically. And I was working with a songwriter out in LA a few months ago, and she said something that really stuck with me. She said, create, don't chase, which is just create what's in your heart and in your mind and your soul. Don't chase after success. Don't chase after what sound or what style is popular right now. Just if you make the great music that you can, and then hopefully good stuff will come to it. So, again, it's all about balance,
Create, don't chase. Remember that, everybody. Michael Goldwasser of Easy Star Records, Easy Star All Stars, Ziggy Stardub has officially landed. Go out and check it out. EasyStar.com. Michael, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you next time. All right.
Thank you so much, DJ Crowley. It was really a pleasure for myself as well. Thank you.
Peace and love.
I'm the space invader. I'll be a rock and rollin'